So Eden Network really is an attempt to engage with young people and families in urban communities, and was born out of a kind of fairly traditional attractional model of mission, going in and doing schools weeks, using music to try and engage with young people. And I guess what we learned from that back in the late 90s was that for young people growing up in urban communities, they need more than just an event. They need someone to come alongside them and actually show day in, day out what a different kind of life looks like. So from that basis, we began to recruit teams to move in and live there long term, trying to be salt and light really in some of the toughest urban areas in our country. So my research has come out of, I guess, what for me has been the biggest question for Eden Network. What does it take to change a life? Our strapline is transforming communities from the inside out. And so to really understand what that is, how it works, has been what has inspired me to start researching. So I've been involved with the Eden Network now for 8 years, and I've been doing my research for the last 4 and a bit. And so it's been trying to really dig into how we understand the idea of transformation and whether that actually matches to what we've experienced. A lot of times we've brought, I guess, understandings of transformation from our Christian heritage, from our language of salvation and discipleship, and we're trying to map that on to then a very real, very vivid experience in an urban community, and sometimes it just doesn't match up. So I'm trying to negotiate the difference really between our inherited ideas of transformation and between what we're seeing in urban communities, and discover in that, I hope, something of what God has really been doing through Eden Network over the years, that maybe we've missed it or not quite known how to articulate it because it's not come in a conventional packaging. In my research, my key discoveries are that transformation requires 3 core conditions. It requires a supportive environment that contains an anticipation of change. It requires a contrast experience of the familiar with the new. And it requires a degree of staying the same that affirms your identity as a person. So with those 3 core conditions, we can actually shape our ministries in a way that better enables transformation to happen. Yeah, so relating pioneering to the Eden Network, I was thinking this morning in the session, and actually we've never necessarily used the word pioneering. I would just call us random. We've discovered a model of mission by a kind of entrepreneurial drive to do something, to have a whatever it takes approach. And but there's definitely commonalities there, and I think our lessons can be helpful, I think, for those going into intentionally pioneering ministry tracks. So I would see the connection as really solid, that we are trying to build on something. Perhaps pioneering ministry is beginning to articulate some of the lessons that have been put into practice more informally in the past. Certainly I would hope that by sharing the mistakes that we've made, we can help other people not make the same ones. It can be seen as a really tough ask, and recruitment for people to join Eden teams is our biggest challenge, without a shadow of a doubt. I think though the biggest issue is perception more than reality. Eden team members, without exception, would talk to you about all that they've gained through their transition into an urban community rather than what they've sacrificed. The perception from the outside is of this big sacrificial kind of pouring out of yourself into this terrible community. The reality when you get there is that you meet a fantastic bunch of people trying to muddle through life with often some really challenging circumstances, and you receive so much. I do think that within Christian ministry, we've developed a concept of serving, which can actually be quite unhelpful. We think that ministry means going to pour yourself out to the detriment of yourself, your family, your closest relationships. It's unsustainable, actually. And when people come with that serving mentality, they overgive and they rob the people around them of the opportunity to give to them. Actually, what we try and do is help our Eden teams to come and receive in their communities. And by doing that, their lives are just enhanced by the experience of living in an urban community. And they're enriched as people through that, and it's sustainable for the long haul. I'm not going to pretend it's not challenging. It is. And the proportion of tragedy in urban communities is often more. The proportion of outside circumstances dictating things in your life, like your house about to be knocked down because it's compulsory purchase, and those kind of regeneration elements that impact our teams along with everyone else, they're there. But actually, I have lived in an urban community now for 7 years myself, and I would say I've received more than I've given. So yeah, I guess that's how you get sustained over the long haul as well.